So we're going to do a little bit more with walking now and take that into the first step of our 5 essential steps. So first though, we've got to walk in line in parallel system. This is what we've actually been doing so far. If I step with my left and Shelley steps with her right, and I step with my right, she steps with her left, then we are walking in what we call parallel system. We're also walking in what we call in line, because I'm walking right into Shelley's path. Now, I can also walk what we call outside partner. So what I mean by that is here, this step is in line. Now this step is outside partner. Notice, I'm on this side of Shelley. I'm not here. This is in line. This is outside partner. Okay? Notice my upper body, our upper bodies, hers is too, still to one another. Her spine is still coming to my spine. Okay? So we're not here. We're there. My hips are actually straight. Shelley's hips are actually straight. So this brings up something that we need to be able to do in this stance, which is dissociation. We need our upper body to be able to do something different than our hips do. So a simple exercise for this, and please, when you do this exercise, stand in front of the mirror, because I guarantee you, you will be doing this, where your hips, everything are moving together. But I want you to turn just your upper body, leaving your hips going straight. Now, will the hips move a fraction? Sure. But big difference between this and this. Okay? So we want the dissociation to come from here. I want my core to be able to turn my upper body. Okay? And it's not just this. Okay? See, this isn't turning. I want this to turn. Okay? That's what I need to do in order to step outside partner, and what Shelley needs to do to allow me to step outside partner. Cool. So see here, we both turned towards one another instead of being straight. Here. I also, when I went outside partner, I didn't take a giant step. This is very common. People try to go on this side, you know, and go all the way almost past. Actually, notice when I'm normally walking here, I'm just stepping right next to Shelley's foot. Same thing when I go outside partner. I'm not stepping right back here. I'm not stretching the step. I'm just walking. And I'm just stepping right where I would normally step. And notice my foot is turned a little towards Shelley. Because again, I want to be still connected with her. Oftentimes what will happen is this. And that brings the hip close together. Again, I want my hips going straight, not turning away. So that's a good place. Freeze there. Take a step and stop. And see that you've got this shape. Now, on my next step, I'm going to walk back in line. So there, I stepped in line, outside partner, in line. Okay. I can do this to the other side, but to be honest, we don't do that much in parallel system. So we're not going to worry so much about it right now, because I want to get you dancing and doing some steps. So practice walking in line and then stepping outside partner and back in line. So notice when I step outside partner, my upper body turns. When I step back in line, I come right back in front of Shelley. Okay? So again, practice walking out and in. In, in, out. In, out. And we shouldn't be doing a lot to get this. Because also the upper body, it's not this. We're not working that hard. It's just there. Just a tiny, there to there. Yeah, so that we can stay together. I want to stay with my chest, my torso, pointing towards Shelley, towards my partner. Then I step again, back in line. Okay. So that's a fine thing to do right on its own. When we're walking, like we just did in the last class, we could now walk outside partner and back in line. Now, what if I stepped outside partner and I didn't step back in line? What is going to happen? What if I take my left leg and I step straight? And as I collect, I straighten my chest. Look what happened. Shelley crossed one foot in front of the other. She crossed her left foot in front of her right foot. This is called the Cruzada. This is one of our 5 essential steps. Now, a lot of debate over the Cruzada and whether it's led or not led. We like to think of it as a led step because I don't want you to have to do this sequence in order to get to it. Now, this is not what we're going to do right now. Just to demonstrate our point, I just got to cross. If the only time she crossed was when I went 2 steps outside partner, that would not be possible. So, for right now though, I would say if he steps outside partner for 2 steps and does not step back in line, then cross. We want to get in the habit of doing this. For the women, for the followers right now, sorry, this is gonna feel a little weird. We don't walk down the street backwards first off, and crossing one foot in front of the other foot. So this takes some getting used to. A good exercise for this is just, Shelley can demonstrate this for us, it's just walking backwards and crossing. Getting used to doing this. Okay? Do that over and over and over again. Tango takes repetition, it takes body memory, it takes doing something a bunch of times and getting our body used to doing it. Now, one other thing, we'll turn this way when we do this. If we cross, so cross your feet in front, notice we're not out here. We're not back here. We're not out here. Our feet are very nice and neat. Our right knee is sort of sitting a little behind our left knee, and we can switch our body weight. One of the most common things that you see with beginning dancers is that they take their left foot way too deep. Now, if I need to switch weight to that foot, look what happens. I gotta push the other foot out of the way. So find this spot where you can, for the followers, where you can very comfortably switch your weight without your feet having to uncross. That way we can do this very comfortably, naturally, looks good. And for right now, we're going to do it on the downbeat. So feet, 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 feet. One more thing here on the whether it's led or not led. I would say it's almost leading by what we're not doing. on this step, if I step again, like we were doing a minute ago, back in line, there is no reason for her to cross. Why? Because one of the reasons she does the cross is to stay in front of us. Look at this. If I step here, she crosses, now we're back to our starting position of the dance. Albeit with her cross, but still our upper bodies are in the right place. Okay? So if I step back in line after stepping outside partner, she has no need of crossing because I'm back in front of her. She doesn't need to get back in front of me. So we're almost leading it by not blocking it, if that makes any sense. So I would say for the followers, if he steps outside partner for 2 steps, and you feel you have room to cross, then cross. He has actually led it by not blocking you. Then, here, we switch rate at the cross together, and then we can just go back to walking. So, I'm going to put my feet down kind of hard here, just so you see where the rate changes are specifically. There. Okay? So I'm stepping left, right, left, right, left. Okay? At the cross, Shelley's crossing, but then she's actually waiting to put her weight down when I put my weight down. So we actually want to lead that weight change there. Now, if I were to rush right through this, she'd probably still, she'd put her weight down and go, just because she wouldn't want to trip. But what we want to do is stop, collect, switch rate, and go. But still, again, on the downbeat. When we're stepping just on the downbeat, because this is going to be terminology that's going to come up in future classes over and over again. We call this slow, because I don't like counting. So we would say here, I'm walking slow, 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 because I'm dancing on the downbeat. Here, slow, 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 slow. And we'll get into this in a later class, but for the more intermediate advanced dancers that are watching, we could add quick slows. That's where we step on the slow, and then on the upbeat, and back on the downbeat. So, slow, slow, quick, slow, slow, quick, slow, slow, quick, slow. At the cross, I could use this to go slow, slow, quick, slow. Makes it just a little bit more interesting. So if you want to throw that in there, go ahead. So that's our first of the 5 essential steps, going to the cross. And really 2 different ways to get into this, from walking or from a side step. So you can get into it from either way. If we really think about this, this is the same as this. We end up in the same spot. If I step with my left, she steps back with her right, and we collect. Now my weight is on my left, her weight is on her right, and she's in front of me. If I step to the side, my weight is on my left, hers on her right, we're in front of each other. So we end up in the same position, whether we step forward or to the side. So 2 different ways to enter this step. Okay, next, we're going to look at the next step, which is a rebound for the 5 essential steps.